Hello and welcome to the 10th edition of the Smileyblue podcast. We are back. We're in double digits and it's our year in review, the year that Diabotical was, of course, released. I'm joined as ever by my co-host Y2J.
This show almost didn't happen, Joel, because I was asleep. That is why we are late. But I am awake and we're here. Hello, Joel. How are you?
Moving on.
Wow.
I'm also joined by Big Sean, PressOK, caster extraordinaire, producer to the stars. Lovely fella. How you doing?
Thank you very much. Hi.
Hi. Great. David.
Hi.
Premier Diabotical analyst, the latest man to cast a test tournament series with me. How are you doing today?
I am doing quite well. Joel,
That's
how are
good.
you?
I'm all right. Moving on. EU Duel. We did it this weekend. Me and you, Davis. Jake, you watched. Sean, you don't have any memory of it because you're a rackhead. Let's talk about it.
Wow.
Where do we even start?
Where do we start? I don't know. You tell me.
Well, we had a phenomenal series of games. Would have been nice to be able to have seen all of them, but what we were able to see, we got to see some really high-class duel action. A lot of good times, a lot of crazy frags. Personally had a blast casting the duel tournament this weekend. I was really surprised that the outcome. Our man Karwick taking down Agent was pretty splendid.
That's not your boy, Jake.
He's so good. He's my favorite.
You were cheering for Karwick the whole time, Jake.
Exactly. I was the only one who called it. Get on my level, son. That's on my level. My duel knowledge is superior.
He is pretty good, right? I won't lie. And he's very entertaining, and he's done a great job. I mean, he beat Agent absolutely fair and square. It was 3-1 in the end, I believe. He won Casbah, which is super impressive, even if it was because of the disconnect.
It's 3-2, the final.
3-2. Oh, no, it was 3-2, wasn't it? Yeah. What were the maps Agent won?
Casbah.
No, he didn't win Casbah. He won Perilous and like Frontier or something.
It's a great point. I did only watch it, the day after because I fell asleep during the final.
Anyway, it was a great series.
I think it was Frontier and Perilous that he won. Because Karwick took Bioplant, Skybreak, and whatever the other one is.
Casbah,
there we go. Yes.
Well, I don't know if we're in agreement, but I think we saw probably the best duel final in the game's history so far. I think the NA duel final was the best before that when we saw Zorak and Ved. But even though that was a 3-0, that was a really close set of games. But this weekend, man, the fucking level of play was just off the charts. Like the losers finals between Cypher and Karwick were insane, and then followed up by the finals which were insane. It's just a shame that disconnect happened, and it counted as a loss for Agent. But
yeah, it wasn't ideal. But honestly, it wasn't that bad either because I think that everyone sort of agreed that Karwick was going to win that.
Karwick was up. Yeah, he was up 3-0.
3-0 golden frag.
Frag. Yeah, and it was golden frag. So it's not as if it was like a 1-1. You know what I'm saying, or a tied game at all. It was Karwick had a pretty definitive lead. And he had played well the entire map, so I don't think it's really unfair to say that he got like an unfair win or whatever.
No, of course. It's just it's just a shame that was just left sort of. You're always going to get that little bit of unknown, unresolved, whatever. So, but no, apart from that, like I think Karwick is the deserved winner. Like he played fucking insane, just hitting insane rails. Agent finally looking a little bit vulnerable, and it's quite fitting for that to be in the last duel tournament of the year. After he's just literally slaughtered everyone all year long in Europe. So, and it was good to see Cypher just fucking turn up and barely play duel in this game and get third place. Like pretty much, I think Karwick was definitely going to be a tough ask for him because Karwick has just been playing so much. But up until that point, Cypher had been looking pretty dominant as well. And it's just exciting to see a new name, right at the top.
Well, Cypher Karwick was a 2-0, but both maps were tied frags at Golden Frag. Both of those games were 1 frag wins for Karwick. So he narrowly, and I mean narrowly, managed to scrape out those W's versus Cypher. So, and would absolutely love to see Cypher play more Diabotical, obviously with his Quake history. you couldn't really ask for a more talented player as far as historical value goes. But with his other commitments, I guess we'll see if he makes it into any more.
I remember thinking that if Agent had not disconnected that game, it might have been quite close. But also on Frontier, Karvik was hitting some insane rails. And like at that point, I thought, okay, this is probably over. Karvik was going to win, but it was very close. And we'll have to see for the rematch with no disconnects how it goes.
Yeah, I'm sure it will happen. I think that they have consistently been the two best in Europe. Of course, Cypher gave us a little bit of a run there, but hasn't been active. And you know, Dazator's been in grand finals in EU before, Buxter's been in grand finals in EU before, but I think it always has been Karvik that looked like he was closest to taking down Agent. And it's because he has that X factor. It's because he has these ridiculous pincer shots, this ridiculous aggression, and he's the one that is least trying to play Agent on his own terms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you to play against Karvik, you have to beat him. Like, he doesn't change it up really against anyone. He just plays the same way, and people will hate it, and people will call whatever they want. But like, if you want to beat Karvik, you have to like outplay him in his own game, because he doesn't play standard. He just fucking goes in. It's
no,
insane.
but Davjs made a very good point on the broadcast that Karvik looked slightly different this weekend. He looked a much more complete player. Like, he was still very aggressive. He still hit his ridiculous shots, but he reined it in just a little bit, and some of the stupidity was gone.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I can't stress that enough. That especially like his item control and the way that he was orienting how he was approaching his item control was a lot different than what I had seen from him previously. And I think that progression as a player is going to continue into the future. And I honestly don't see him doing anything other than getting stronger, because tempering his already insane mechanics with solid brain play is only going to make him more of a threat. Because, I mean, and you can see it with a player like Rafa, his dominance. He has such an understanding of the game, but nowadays he hits as hard as anybody else. And once you combine those two in, you have a player who's damn near unstoppable on a good day. So,
yeah, actually, I remember consciously seeing a few times actually where Karvik was like leaving Reds up to like go and just get an extra shot off, and then going back to it. So he has so he delays it and also kind of throws off his opponent. I saw that a lot actually. So no, definitely a good shout. Just like a different tournament beast he was this time round. And I wonder if like obviously with Cypher playing, it kind of dispels the rumor of these QPL guys aren't allowed to play. Like, they're definitely allowed to play, but it's obviously they probably just don't want to split their dual time between two games.
The way that it works, as far as I'm aware, is they can't play during QPL games, which is why the EU teams, EU Duelers typically don't play in Diabotical teams, and that's also why the teams is Friday, Saturday for EU rather than Saturday, Sunday. So they can't clash the schedules, but other than that, they are allowed. I know that Sparty, he played in our TimCon Real back in May, something like that, and he had to DQ himself because one of his games went live on QPL. I believe that's how it works.
Oh.
It does make sense that would take priority if you've signed something, but
yeah, because QPL is played on replays, the broadcast, but they tend to they're not.
Fucking hell, industry secret, mate. Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about EU Duel. I think, you know, the top three really was the story, though, if we're going to talk about anyone else. I mean, did Dazator really upset? No. Did Davjs? No. Did Firebot? No. But I will say, Backstein, 4th place, way better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been grinding hard. When you just watch people's streams, if you watch any sort of high-level European dueler, you see Backstein all the time. Like, I don't think he streams himself. I don't recall seeing his point of view, but he's always been practicing a lot against Lupin, actually, Joel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they play a ton of games.
And Backstein also, I think this game probably really suits his style, because the Backstein I remember from Quake Live was a very position-oriented player, very rocket-heavy, rockets and pincer, or I guess railgun in that game, were his two dominant guns. And with how strong rockets are in Diabotical relative to Quake Live, I'm not too surprised that he is a top-tier player, but I am Also pleasantly surprised that he did make top 4 in the in the duel tournament. I'm really hoping that he continues to play and grind it out, because I could definitely see his style being one that can get him to the top with a little bit more work.
Yeah, man. Like I say, definitely putting in the time. See him. I think he's got an obscene amount of games. Same with Dazzletour as well, actually. So definitely, like, everyone just mentions Agent when it's like Europe, but it's good to see a few, like, especially with the Karwik win, but a few other guys stepping up and playing a lot and placing well.
I think my favorite thing about the Agent versus Karvik matchup is that Agent excels at reading his opponent, predicting where his opponent is going to be, and Karvik excels at being unpredictable and winning in situations where you wouldn't expect. So it was just such a perfect matchup of, a perfect read versus the unreadable, and you guys casting it also helped hype it up a lot, but it was like by far the best duel in Diabotical so far.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Look at this smug cunt.
Excuse me? It was pretty good though. It was pretty good. I had a good time. It was really easy casting with Davis. I mean, the one thing I will say is, like, it got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to give him space. I'm just going to let him talk because he's got so much to say. And then in the grand finals, I was like, no, I got to get my own. I got to get some shouting in there. The people deserve the growl. But it was a great final, honestly. Honestly, the whole day, I thought we were blessed with really good games, though, Davis. And I hope you enjoyed it half as much as I did.
Oh, I absolutely enjoyed it, and I will echo that sentiment. I think the entire day, the only real blowout we saw was Backstein and Buckster on Frontier, and that was the only map. It wasn't even the series; it was just that one map that Backstein really got to run really hard level of control on Buckster. But every other game we watched was super duper close. Obviously, we've been talking about the grand finals, but Cypher Karwik was one of the best of threes I've seen in Diabotical ever. And then
Cypher Danchez was good.
As well. Cypher Danchez was good. Agent Cypher was phenomenal in the winter bracket semifinal. Like there was a ton of just really good games.
When I was watching Cypher's stream when he was getting ready for this, and when I was watching his stream for like the Saturday, like the first day, I was like, fuck me, like Cypher's already got like the best pincer in the game, like 100%. But then I saw him play against Karwik. I was like, maybe he's got the second best in Europe, because Karwik was just hitting fucking insane stuff. But yeah, Cypher isn't like, this game kind of, I would say, suits him, because it's much more QL-esque than, the other Quakes, and Cypher was obviously a fucking god at that game. So yeah, good.
I remember watching. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I do think that Cypher probably had the best shaft out of anybody we watched on Sunday.
Yeah.
His shaft game was absolutely insane, and not even Karwik, I don't think, was on that same kind of level.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Cypher, I think, had all of the sort of hallmarks for a player that was getting by on talent rather than experience, because he wasn't taking the sickest angles, he wasn't timing the best, he wasn't navigating the map the best, but as soon as they were in that sort of 1v1 and he knew where his opponent was, he played it flawlessly. Super strong, pure arena FPS instincts kicking in there. And I really hope we get to see him more, because of course he is one of the most exciting players, not just of Duel, not just of Diabotical, but of all time in this genre. And he truly is a special talent.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is the Diabotical is based heavily on Quake, but it's got such subtle differences also, and so we're waiting to see how the Quake dueler top players can approach it. And so it was really nice to watch Cypher, like you guys said. I think watching him, I could kind of extrapolate to it's like he started later, and you can see his development is kind of like a bit delayed, but if you had given him the same amount of time, he would have been the top. Like, he probably would have won, if I had to guess. If he had as much practice as anyone else.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
me,
I think so.
it makes me want to ask him like, I want to ask him like, do you enjoy this game? Like, what like tell us some stuff. Like, what would you change? Like, what would be better? Like, what's good? What's bad? But like, he's obviously quite a hard guy to get a hold of. I did actually try and fucking reach out to see if I can get him on this show. So you're here because of that,
Oh
Sean.
wow!
It would have been me, GMT, most likely Davis over you and Cypher. But
That's awful. Why have you said that to your friend, Jake?
I'm just being honest.
Why have you said that?
I'm just being honest.
There was
There's
no
an
need for
ocean
this.
between them. He's not worried about repercussions.
Listen, Sean understands that all he needs to do is get me a turkey leg and it'll all be fine, all right?
Jesus.
He'll get you a turkey leg if you say GG every now and then, bro.
We got through 20 minutes before the turkey leg meme. So.
Moving on. Right. Mapping contest. We did a really good stream, and I'm fucking proud of it. And I'm proud of my boys Adam and FaZe. And this is just going to be my moment to basically say that they're fantastic. I'm not going to go into any of the drama behind the scenes, but basically, that entire stream, was made in about 8 hours. Every single graphical asset, every video, every little piece of it, made by Adam and FaZe. And those boys, they're fucking troopers, man. Like, just salt of the earth, lovely lads. And I think we put on a really good show. Jake, I know you were watching. What did you make of the mapping contest finale?
Oh, I could crush you in like 1 second if I wanted to. But no, it was actually a really good stream. I thought good having like Napalm on there as well. Yeah, I mean, it was a good way to announce the winners. The fucking viewership was popping off, honestly.
It was like NA Duel.
But you had like over 300, like pretty much consistent 300 odd viewers, right, or 400, something like that. For I know you originally wanted to do it on possibly the Diabotical Twitch channel, but TimCon's a valiant second option there, and yeah, it was good. It was a good way of announcing the winners and doing a little showcase. I was laughing at all the fucking extra map judges in chat a lot of the time. But that's my own sick fantasy, is watching the people in chat. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
Gonna let Sean enjoy that one for a bit.
He can't even laugh on camera. It's too good for him.
There's like certain people that I copy and paste all their chat messages. I'll send it straight to PressOK, even though he's in the same channel. I send them straight to.
Twitch chat is phenomenal
Because I know it's gonna like crack you up. Like, I just know the sweet spot of the comment that's gonna crack you up.
Yeah, it's true.
But it was a fucking great stream, and yeah, the graphics and overlays looked really nice. FaZe said he was going to do some for us here, but I don't know where he is.
No, paid him, have you? That's your problem, Jake.
That's true, yeah.
What else would he add? It's a perfect stream.
Yeah,
perfect stream.
Production quality is off the charts.
But I mean, so we had that idea together, Jake, and then you bailed to do a gig that you then couldn't do.
Yeah.
Not putting you under the bus or anything there. But anyway, we did the stream. It was fucking excellent. I'm really, really proud of it, actually. And I will say that my aspect of it was really lacking because I had no time for preparation, because I was just spending my time going, like, getting this person to talk to this person to organize this thing. And then the stream went live and I went, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, no. And then it was just, here's a map. Why is this good, Mr. Judge? And then he was like, well, I'll tell you what, Joel. Fucking good, isn't it? And I was like, yeah. And then 2 hours went by, and at some point we ended the stream, and it was fantastic. And I'm really made up about that, because I think it was pretty highly produced. There were a couple of slip-ups, no doubt, but nothing. I think the mapping contest is going to be such an important part of our future. We're inside TimCon land for our next TimCon monthly in January. We're talking about going to a 7-map pool, and of course that's going to mean contest winners and removing a couple of the current maps. And for teams it's a big deal as well. I think that the whole mapping contest actually has been a roaring success, and I think it's really, really important for the game.
Can you please explain to us how difficult it was trying to get 8 players to all be at the same place at the same time to play the same game time?
I mean, I will tell you that I asked about 18 people to get those 8. And 2 of those 8 told me during the stream that they were available. So I was DMing people while hosting, and I was like, yeah, Krizzo, come play, mate, please. And I was like, FaZe, you don't have to play, thank God. But yeah, it was tricky.
Cool. I just wanted to ask because getting any group of people to do anything is extremely difficult. But I think you did really well to get a fucking actual multiple TDM matches played on stream on new maps for no money.
CTF too,
and CTF, yeah, of course. So props, well done.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it, and that's why we had to mention it, because it was a pretty big event for me, at least. Anyway, now we're going to get into sort of the meat and potatoes of this podcast, because it is our year end. We will be back in 2021, but this is the last podcast it's going on, of 2020, and I want to talk a little bit about casting. We've all casted a fair bit. Jake with me, Davis with me, PressOK with some lunatics. Let's talk about casting. I don't know what we're going to talk about casting, but we're going to do it.
Oh, you just put the topic in and let it roam free.
Yeah, I put the topic in, and then I got deep into an Arbor 12-year, Jake. And, well, it is what it is.
Fucking hell.
I was wondering who wrote this, because it just says cast or talk. And I was like, okay, all 4 of us have cast. This can't go well. There's no possible chance.
I don't think it'll go poorly.
We got Davis here. You can carry us. That's good.
Ooh, okay, maybe this can go poorly.
No.
But I'll say, just from my perspective, I've never really casted anything before. Diabotical.
No fucking way.
Yeah, that's no bullshit. I have never casted, like, not on any like official capacity. I've talked about some stuff on my stream, but I really haven't been streaming super heavy until for really this year, honestly, with all the lockdowns and everything, is when I really started streaming quite a bit. And but I've never casted anything before this, but I've always kind of wanted to get into it. I really, if we're being honest, just kind of wanted to emulate Too Good from Quake Live back in the early Quake Live days, because he really helped me get into the game with how he would cast it and talk about Duel. And so that really fueled my interest in the game. So when I came into it, that was really kind of just, try to be like Too Good. Wall casting, specifically wall casting. Yeah, everything else the man does, I don't know. But when it comes to casting,
make sure you specify that.
I definitely had to specify.
Yeah.
Oh, Hailstorm does bring up that I have cast in challengers before, and I did cast some QC with Cygib. That is true. So I guess not completely new to casting, but definitely the most casting I've ever done was in Diabotical. But,
and you were fucking excellent.
Yeah, you were really good, Davis.
Yeah,
really
I think you get some of the hardest things right, and that is that your enthusiasm is absolutely genuine, which is more than we can say for some people. But
wow,
you've got the analysis. One of the things I said to you before we commentated together, I was like, dude, your play-by-plays are actually sick, so I'm going to shut up. If you're analyzing and we need to go to play-by-play, I'm not interrupting you. And I think that is actually one of your most unique strengths, and it was super, super fun to cast with you, and it was super easy. So it was like, if I went silent, you covered. Golden.
Well, thank you. It's my excitement is genuine, because it's I've always been an Arena FPS fan ever since I was in high school. So it's been a part of my life for over half my life, and it's not hard to fake the excitement, because I've always really, especially with Duel, team mode's not so much, but in Duel especially, I've always really enjoyed watching and playing. So yeah, really easy to get hyped up and into it, because it's something I very much enjoy.
I'm getting harassed in the chat now, so let's talk about Y2 Jake. You've done a bit of casting at this point. You're probably going to do some more in the future. Tell me about your Diabotical casting experience.
Well, unlike liar Davis here, I haven't done any casting before Diabotical. Yeah, no secret Quake Champions cast that anyone's going to bring up in chat. Yeah, I don't know, man. I when I first got into just making videos about the game, I've always followed esports. So it's weird. Like Davies, you're probably the same. Like when you when you kind of do your first major. I say major. I don't know if it's major, but if you do your first, like someone's asked you to cast their thing, you kind of go into this like weird autopilot. Like I ended up saying things that I don't even think about, like because you've probably just consumed so much esports over the years and years, and there's so many casters out there now that you kind of just like you said about Too Good, you kind of mold yourself into a caster you probably enjoy watching and listening to yourself. Joel.
And this is for the ashes.
No one fucking says that apart from you.
But yeah,
no. So like, it was a shock to me that a few weeks ago I got a DM on Discord from James asking if I want to commentate the EU teams with GMT. I was like, with GMT, fine, I guess I'll do it. And yeah, I mean, I had no experience. I just got linked up with this thing with Jahar. I didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Joel was nervous as shit casting with me because he's like, "We've got an issue, Jake. I've got no idea like how this is gonna go." And I think it went
genuinely.
Okay.
I did say that. I was like, our roles overlap so much. What the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah,
and then you were golden.
I acted like the adult because it's hard. Sometimes I forget that I am a few years older than you, GMT, and I was like, "Look, mate, we'll be fine. Like, what's to worry about? Like, everyone in chat knows who we are. Like, we'll just chill, we'll just be ourselves, and it will all just sort of take care of itself." Next minute, I know I've been removed from the broadcast channel, and Davjs has replaced me. So let's see.
Can we talk about that story? Because that is fucking fantastic. I sent you a DM that said Davjs in the broadcast channel, eyes, and you were like, oh yeah, I think he's replaced me. I'm like, no, he's replacing me. Don't worry, Jake, you got your job. You've stolen mine. And then you went and looked, and
oh no,
gone you were.
I know. I typed out a big long message to Davjs personally, and then I deleted it. I thought better of it. I was like, that's not his fault. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. But yeah, no.
I had no idea this occurred. This is all news to me. I didn't know that.
You're gonna get removed from that broadcast channel soon. Don't you worry.
That's how you find out.
Me, and it is for me alone.
Joel's
staying there for multiple weeks in a row.
GMT's
the cockroach.
Yeah, he's the cockroach of Diabotical. Literally, he fucking hangs on. He's like he's like sat on the Iron Throne longer than anyone. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I got a bit of feedback after and stuff, and which is nice. And I got to cast Fatality's Aim Arena thing out of nowhere with Inns, which is great because Inns has been casting for years and years with Zoot and whoever else, and he's done stuff for Face It. And we literally, I never spoke to Inns, but he messaged me saying, "Do you want to cast Fatality's thing with me?" I was like, "Sure." And then literally like a couple of minutes before we went live, he said, "Oh, you're British, by the way, so you're doing all the intros and the hosting and the sponsor shout outs and all this stuff." And it's just so ad hoc, and I just fucking winged
British
it.
Have to do with it?
Crazy. I don't know. You have to ask him, but I guess it's because we're handsome and smooth talking.
Professionals.
Yeah, and not awkward like I'm being right now. But yeah, I don't know. I'd love to do more casting. Obviously, I really enjoy it. And it's amazing how many doors open once you do like the 1 or 2 official broadcasts. Like I have people now that message me and say, "Do you want to do this?" I'm like, "No."
Hang about. Can we talk about that? Because I get nobody messaging me like that. Nobody.
It's because you're the
GMT.
It's because you're the cockroach. No one wants you, mate. No one wants the cockroach. They want the exquisite rarities of Jake and PressOK.
All right.
If it
Moving
makes you
on.
feel any better, GMT, nobody messages me either.
They will after this, mate. You're gonna take over here. Max, they can save some money on you, Davis, because you can do play-by-play and analysis at the same time. You'll just be doing it on your own.
Did GMT just leave? Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's sad. He's in his
That's
depression
dirty.
blanket.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have his earbuds in. He's got his depression blanket. He's about to pour himself another little bit of his whiskey.
He bought that after the show. Bought that after the show match.
Oh,
Right
straight
from the bottle. Straight
Wow.
from the bottle. You have upset GMT.
Imagine having the nicest crystal glass and going straight from the bottle.
I mean, the bottle looks pretty decent to me.
Shout outs to my mum.
I was about to say that.
Right.
Joel's mum.
Don't you fucking...
I was going to say that to the end of my thank you section.
Right, what are we talking about? Something's happened. Isn't
Player
it?
of the year. That's
Oh, well, PressOK needs to talk about casting.
Yeah, PressOK. Sean, get crack. Talk to me.
Get cracked, bud. Get cracked and talk to us.
I'm not a good caster. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the game more. I think my casting comes from just genuinely enjoying the game. And my understanding is obviously not at a level of Davjs or some other casters, but I did what I could for a good little bit. I'm not sure if I can continue casting, real life taking over. I enjoyed it for a while. I hope that future of casting is quite good for Diabotical. Yeah, I mean, it was fun casting.
Hey, you forgot about the cast of the century when you casted me versus GMT with Scrolls. That was a
That's
great
true.
cast. That was the greatest cast.
That's true.
There's a showreel potential out of that one stream.
Shout out to
Fucking
Sprouse.
awful.
It was not awful. It was fantastic from a 360-degree perspective. It was great to watch both of you play each other, and also seeing your cams while you were playing was fantastic. I feel like there's some potential there for some future dual casts. It was really honestly entertaining, like from the core.
And dude, your work to get all that set up. I know there was a few hiccups at the start, which trigger you a little bit, but the actual work initially to get it all up and running, and because I know what I knew what I wanted to do for that thing, but I don't possess the patience or the technical know-how to set all that up. But I knew you would know how to do it, or at least figure out how to do it, and it came out fucking perfect, man. It's so good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't edited the highlight video, but there were some technical issues on the first map, but eventually it went well, and I was really glad because the duel itself was fantastic. You guys both played well, and it was quite close. So.
And by the way, I get asked all the time whether we're doing a rematch. We're never doing the fucking rematch. That's it. It's the only time.
You got the one. You got the one best of 5.
I don't know, unless Joel's the one. I'm saying this on behalf of GMT. He said he didn't want to play ever again. But I don't know if he's got.
Well, he's already wrapped up in a depression blanket.
Yeah.
So.
He's ready.
Is that one of those weighted blankets?
Maybe
Maybe.
he's just gonna not. We've lost our host. Why did you guys bring this best of 5 up? He was already sad. Now he's sadder.
I can't help myself right now because of that. I have 69 subs. That's I don't know, a pog number. He just drowned that whiskey. He just dropped that.
It's a pog number.
Yeah, if I was a younger man, I'd be tweeting about that and put in I don't know.
Hashtag poggers.
Yeah, poggers and lit.
Poggers, watch sad drunk man get more drunk.
Player of the year.
Oh, you're making me so sad, GMT.
Yeah, he takes it a bit far. I think maybe on LAN. LAN would be the appropriate place to take the rematch if we get.
I'm busy on LAN.
You're busy on
run
LAN.
the LAN.
No,
I want to commentate the LAN.
No, get Alan to do that.
No, you can
Get Alan to do that.
If you got Alan to commentate the LAN, all you're going to hear is, "Man, fucking duel is a shit game mode, isn't it? Why don't we just go do some time trials? This duel shit's dumb." He would just rag on the game. That's all he would do.
Too right. Too right. Right. Player of the year. Who's the player of the year, Jake?
Do we specify? Is this overall? We're not doing it region by region because that's a bit boring.
We're not doing it region by region. We're just picking our man.
Shout
outs to Beth and Taxes because you are a goal. But we're picking probably our man.
Well, we all know who you're going to pick. You worship the feet of the God Emperor.
I do.
What, Gaia? GMT
No,
pick
Gaia
Gaia.
is absolutely my player of the
GMT pick Gaia for no reason. Start with
What
someone
do you
else.
mean, no reason?
Don't growl at me.
Entertaining man alive.
Don't growl at me. One blue astronaut's going to be upset. Sean, you go first, because despite me telling everyone to think of this beforehand, I was asleep, wasn't I? So.
For Player of the Year, okay, so I gave it to Agent, and the reason is
Bold.
because I'm a very logical person, and I find that his play is very logical. It's quite consistent, and it revolves around reading his opponent, which is to me what Duel is about. And again, I am kind of focusing on Duel here, but yeah, like all the games I like revolve around reading your opponent rather than playing the game super well, which is a skill in itself, and you see people rewarded for it. But I feel like Agent's ability to read his opponent is unparalleled, and therefore he's my Player of the Year.
Can't argue with that. I think I'm just gonna pick Rafa.
Rafa.
Yeah.
The man doesn't even play Diabotical, other than team modes, I guess.
But the team modes are so fucking good to watch, and I think Liquid's organisation and comms just all flow through Rafa.
I knew it was about the comms. It's about the comms.
The comm like blew the boxes and all that shit. I love it. And and he's
Chunk.
yeah, I hate that call out so much, but that's what the shop's called. So what are you gonna do?
I don't. What's the other one? Rugs. I don't like rugs.
Pumps
Bothers me for
and
some
pumps. I don't. That doesn't sit well with me.
Pumps and rugs and.
Not
a fan.
Because I got a feeling we was all going to select Jewelers, and I was going to go Zorak, but I'm going to go Rafa instead, purely because obviously he doesn't play the game full time. You know, he's the greatest Quake player to ever live, right? So he's pretty busy winning shit in the other game. But when there's a team tournament around the corner for Diabotical, it's not like he turns up the day before, runs a couple of wipeouts with his team, and then like goes on and plays. They drill every night. I mean, Davis, you've probably scrimmed them quite a few times, or with your team with Prevail. They stream everything, so you get to watch all of their practice. They are drilling. They're taking it seriously. I think poor Dehang had to go around the maps and fucking screenshot like every little corridor while they had to like make a name up for them. You know, and that's why pumps exists and shit. And like poor Dehang's got like fucking blueprints over his bedroom wall and schematics of like furnace. You know, fucking because that's the highest standard they demand. And I think it's just. I mean, Sean, you mentioned before, right, that one of your sort of, I don't want to say proudest moments. That sounds a bit dramatic, but you said you're really proud to be able to cast a game of Team Liquid. I think it was in a MacGuffin tournament, like right early on, and just seeing like Rafa's name and Dehang's name in the game is really cool to see, and the fact that they're winning because they're putting in all the work. That is why Rafa is my Player of the Year.
True.
Because of all of that, you know, if he was playing Duel as well, then of course I think all of us would say, if he was winning Duel tournaments, then we'd all say that anyway. But the fact that he's taken the team so seriously, like a good couple of weeks before the team tournaments, and we can all watch it, and they seem to be enjoying the game, that's enough for me.
True, and if I can just quickly follow up on that, is casting Rafa was like a big deal to me. You know, I grew up watching Quake a lot, and you know, the top players that I was really fond of, just the fact that I could cast Rafa and Diabotical was like hugely meaningful to me. So thanks to Rafa for playing. Thank you to the Good Studio, everyone, for setting up. The whole thing came together. It was really nice. I enjoyed it like a lot. It meant a lot to me.
Nice. I think it's your turn, Davis. Because GMT is still thinking about the show match. Sorry, I should be more humble, shouldn't I? But it is
you
funny.
really should.
Yeah.
You really should, Jake. I think you actually legitimately owe him a turkey leg. But my Player of the Year, I am going to go with a dueler, and I'm actually going to go with who you were suggesting, which is Zorak. As a North American player, he's always kind of been the top dog in Diabotical on this side of the pond. I give him Player of the Year, though, because In practice versus Ved, the matches that I was able to see of them in practice, Ved was beating him sometimes quite comfortably, other times not so much. But his kind of like what you guys were saying with Rafa and stuff, his approach to the game and his professionalism about how he was going to slightly adjust his playstyle in order to counter Vedmedic in the duel tournament, which was obviously the storyline of the NA duel, the last NA duel tournament. He beat him not only in the winner's bracket, but in the grand finals, and he did it without dropping a map, and he did it by making a massive comeback on Frontier, like an 8-frag comeback in the winner's bracket. I gotta give the man props. He adjusted his style appropriately, and Vedmedic said on this very podcast about the lack of creativity and kind of just dogging on us NA boys, and I think Zorak really kind of took it to him and made him eat his words. So, I mean, that's commendable. And he did it in an extremely professional way till the very end when he hit one solo bind, the one BM I think I've ever seen Zorak actually type out or bind, I guess. So Zorak gets my player of the year for the first year of Diabotical, for the first half year of Diabotical.
With that bind, I messaged him after and I was like, dude, you just hit him with the fucking bind or the copy paste. And he's like, because, you know, Zorak's like so dry. Like, he's funny, but he's so dry. Like, he's not going to like laugh out loud as he's telling a joke. Like, he just delivers it so dry. He was just like a robot response. He was like, yes, I thought it would be entertaining for the fans at home. Ha ha, or something like that. I was like, that's so fucking Zorak. Like, just literally telling me why it was funny. I was like, I know why it's funny, man. But yeah, good job anyway. So, yeah, that was fucking great. It was a great series. And yeah, Ved even, like you say, Ved even afterwards was really nice about it. He was saying, yeah, he surprised me. He changed it up. He played so much better than he did in practice, and yeah, it was a great show.
Absolutely. Which leaves us to the man who's been silent for, sorry, I don't know, 20 minutes now.
GMT, player of the year.
Gaia.
Oh, fuck.
What a guy. He's got me the best commentary highlight of all. He's got me the most hype team series of all.
Wait, are you
He's
kidding?
the loveliest guy on LAN. I mean,
Is he your
just what a
pick?
guy. Yeah, I'm going for Gaia. I mean, in terms of who performed the best, the God Emperor, of course. But the God Emperor might be a bit of a dick. So, I'm going to go with Gaia. I'm going to go with my boy, the Finnish Phenom. Loveliest fella in Arena FPS, and I can't wait to see what him and his team managed.
Joel, there's literally someone in chat going, who?
Fuck off.
Gaia.
Moving on. Biggest surprise of the year, which was a player or a moment or something that really shocked you?
We'll just go around again. Go on, PressOK, you go first.
Okay.
We run a tight ship round here.
This is biggest surprise of the year?
Biggest surprise.
I prepared some MS Paint graphs for this one. I don't know if this shows up.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Okay. So imagine this is flipped the other way around. But basically, this is a player's skill graph, right?
How could you not be bothered to flip this?
I did flip it. I don't know why I flipped it twice. I guess that makes it unflipped. Anyways, imagine this was left to right. This is your average player's skill coming in from Quake and improving, okay? And then this is some players, notably, like I would say kind of like RD, if you know him from NA, where they resisted the Diabotical changes at first, but then they improved quickly, dramatically over time.
What is happening?
Let him do it. Let him do it.
Just go with it.
This yellow line, if you imagine it reverse, is Yes More Light. Okay, he is my pick for biggest surprise of the year. He came in without the Quake experience. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yes More Light came in without the Quake experience. He had some Arena FPS experience, which is why he was not 0, but he came in without the Quake experience. He still doesn't use Dash, and he's a 2200 ELO player. He's accelerated at a rate faster than almost anyone.
He is not that high on the leaderboard, bro.
It doesn't matter. This is Yes More Light.
So
Twitch.tv/Yes More Light.
Oh, he's great.
He is my biggest surprise of the year, only because I've been watching players from Quake all year, and so it's nice to see someone who didn't come from Quake, who's doing really well and enjoying the game and like really analyzing it and playing well, and decision making is great across the board. So it's the biggest surprise to me. It was a tough call, which is why I made graphs to quantify what I was saying, but.
Yes, I'm reading about your graphs. It seems like they're very well understood, PressOK. My favorite comment so far is, I do love me some graphs without a named axis. I have to agree. I do love graphs that don't actually quantify what we're measuring.
Reddit would kill me. It doesn't. It's skill. It's a graph of skill. Okay. If you don't understand it, I can't help. Put in the work. He's the biggest surprise.
And if you're one of the 9 monthly listeners who listen to the audio version of this, you might want to finally watch the YouTube VOD while I cancel that subscription to host that, because it's not worth it. Wow, I can't really top that, can I? Because I had a really boring selection. I was going to say.
I don't think any of us can top that.
No, okay, that's fine. I was going to say. Carwick, personally.
Carver. Big boy Carver.
Obviously, I'm not blessed with the previous Quake knowledge that most people are, so I didn't know who he was at all, because he'd never popped up during my kind of months of watching loads and loads of Quake Live duels and stuff. I understand he played some Quake Champions and didn't really do much, right? Just kind of a there and there player. There is some people that say certain things, but whatever. He's clean. He's not. I even asked James directly once. I said, "There's people saying stuff about this guy. Like, do you do checks, or is the anti-cheat good?" And he goes, "Well, he's there. He's fine. They've not found anything, and he's fucking won a tournament now, and he's really fucking fun to watch." I don't know anything about him, because even though he streams sometimes, he has no cam. He doesn't seem to talk on the microphone. He randomly played on a team with like Nico on the test.
And Nico and yeah.
So we do know he has a voice, because I've heard him talk finally when I watched Nico's stream. And I didn't think he would actually finally be able to beat Agent, because it was usually him and. Like, Carwick would kind of like get to the finals, or the winners final, or the losers final, but as soon as he met Agent, he would just bomb out quite easily. But he's got closer and closer and closer, and then I think this weekend just tipped it over the edge for me, and I've just selected Carwick, and let's see what you can do. If there is a LAN in the horizon, if there is a LAN in the future in 2021, I want him to show up, and I want him to play exactly the same he does online, and I want him to prove people wrong if that's the case. If he doesn't show up, I'll have to go back and redact all of this. Or if he shows up and comes last place. But yeah, other than that, I think Carwick's a big surprise for me. I wish I had the Yes More Light stuff instead, though, because that was very good, Sean. But yeah. Carwick for me is my surprise.
I'm going to toss this over. Oh, fuck. I was going to toss it to you first, because I have no idea.
God,
Jake was my biggest surprise. The best turkey bringer I've ever seen in my life. The man is just built for servitude of chicken, or turkey rather. But I don't know. From a North American perspective, it sounds kind of depressing. But like, I think PressOK had the best example. Most of the North American scene is, fairly predictable in terms of how the results and everything shaked out. There was really no major upsets. I don't know. I'm struggling here. I'm running through all these names in my head, and I think the biggest surprise for me actually, and it's not just like one player, but as a whole, there is a lot of interest from the lower levels of Duel in Diabotical that I haven't seen in an arena FPS for a really long time. And that is actually a big surprise to me. For me personally in Quake Live, after about 2014, it was roughly the same group of 20 players. You had your absolute tip top with like Rafa, Dehang, Chance, DKT, Sparks. And then you would go down the list and you get the mid tiers like me, Ray, later on Ballin. Zorak at the time wasn't quite a top tier player yet. So I think the biggest surprise for me is just the growth I'm seeing in the lower level of Duel that I might not be as exposed to, but I'm seeing a lot more of in Diabotical than I had seen even in like Quake Champions. There's not really a really decent size scene of the lower to mid tier players that you see in Diabotical in North America at the very least.
Are you talking about the dual Halla guys? Like you got Escanor and like Janky and RD, Perplexity, like those kind of guys. PressOK, Drifted.
Wow, unbelievable.
But no, there is definitely like a clique of guys who are clearly like really hungry to try and get better at the game, and I've noticed that too, man. So that's a nice pick actually, I'd say. Even if it's just off the top of your head. I've got an honourable mention actually. Before Joel talks, I've got a quick honourable mention because I am like Mr. Australia on this show. If there's no Australians here, I do like to fly the Aussie flag. Kama is fucking dominant in Australia, right? He's smashing even his brother Fraze. So that was a bit of a surprise to me because I didn't know Kama was so fucking good at dueling. Obviously, he was really handy at Quake Live, but Fraze kind of took the headlines. But right now in Australia, Kama is looking unbeatable. So I'm just going to quickly say Kama.
Nice. I can respect that.
Phrase Kama guest.
My biggest surprise
I'm working on it, really am.
You are, yeah. You talked to that man. My big surprise is Wipeout. Wipeout's actually kind of cool. And I'm surprised by that because I thought it would all be Extinction, it would all be MacGuffin. Of course, fuck MacGuffin. Wipeout is getting more interesting.
Joel, on the notes that you wrote, sorry to interrupt you, you've written biggest surprise in brackets player.
Yep. Yeah. Wipeout the player.
Wipeout the player.
Okay, all right, cool.
Wipeout is getting more interesting, and I have no idea why. It feels like it should be a dog shit game mode, but it's actually all right.
So more drunk than me.
Yeah, big ups to Wipeout. We love you.
It's because he got told off.
It's
because he got told off by Death Row.
And yeah, it absolutely is. Moving on, caster of the year.
Why are we doing caster of the year? I told you to leave this from now. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's definitely GMT. GMT's put in the most work. He's been on the most events, especially like the higher caliber events. I don't think you could objectively say anybody else is the best caster of the year.
The cockroach of Diabotical. Congrats.
Are you guys unanimously voting GMT? Because my vote is Davis, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is horseshit.
This is why I unanimously went to GMT. I just said earlier, I had never done this really before. Now you're going to give me the vote of best caster of the year? It's kind of a dick move to the guy who's been casting all year.
I don't care. I don't care. I know GMT.
I don't care. Sean is the man who invalidates casters. Confirmed.
I'm honest. Invalidates.
I tell you what, obviously, I told GMT to leave this off because it's like just fucking weird watching four men suck each other off on a podcast saying, oh no, you're the caster of the year. So I made a conscious effort not to include anyone on this thing. I actually think, again, in Australia, Hamo, the play-by-play caster in Australia, is really fucking good. Him and Phylum make a really good pair. Phylum obviously is quite a bit more known for his stuff on YouTube, and he's been making videos about Quake and Diabotical for years now. But Hamo is a really, really good fucking play-by-play caster.
The fuck is this?
Come on, Hamo's a lovely man. He's a lovely lad.
Look.
He drinks a lot of Fosters.
GMT's about to just go to bed in that chair.
GMT
Host your own
beanbag,
damn podcast.
GMT's sourced, man.
I do have to agree with you though, like Hamo, and also the production of the OCE tourneys is like unparalleled so far. So if anyone is looking to do tourneys in the future for Diabotical, definitely check out the Australia OCE tourneys. The production is really nice, to be honest.
100%.
Absolutely, always has been. They've always been really good. They've always been kind of ignored, unfortunately, by the developers of the games because their community is so small. But they've always done a really nice job at running their own events, and the production, like you said, is always really, really well done. So yes, props to the Australians.
Shout outs to those guys.
And GMT also, shout out to GMT. I'm just gonna try to make you feel a little better here, GMT. I don't want sad GMT.
Oh, I do. GMT, who's your caster of the year?
Me.
Oh, fucking hell.
You've never seen a man get this excited about Wipeout, all right? That's a GMT exclusive.
He's casted it so much he's actually now a fan of it. Indoctrination at work right here.
I got Stockholm syndrome to fuck.
Davey,
It was like, I keep casting Wipeout and they keep giving me money. I don't understand.
you should see him fucking play it. That's a sight to see that. Jesus Christ.
He's in. 1v4. Let's go, boys.
Only do 1 360 pincer per player. But honestly, like I would give my caster of the year to GMT hands down, except for the fact that Davjs came in late and with less casting experience and knocked it out of the park. Partially because he has a lot of experience as a player, so he knows exactly what is the focus of the moment. And so, like, hands down, you have to give it to Davjs. But of course, GMT, like the moments wouldn't be the same and memorable without you.
I mean, I can't remember any of the moments.
Neither can I. But I said
yeah,
Someone
no, I
remembers
don't know.
it.
I mean, I did just want to talk about casting in general a little bit. Like, all of you guys have tried it at this point, and you've been sort of more on the analytical side of things, and I've been play-by-play. But I think variety is the spice of life, and that is true of casting as of anything. And, you know, while I've been there for a lot of I've been for all of the official tournaments, I think the co-commentators have really made that special and unique. And hopefully there's someone that can replace me at some point, because Jesus Christ, it's getting tiring. Moving on. Team of the year. Now, really, I feel like there are two options here. 2Z or Team Liquid. And it basically depends which continent you think is stronger. And I'm going to start by saying Team Liquid.
What's Cass's team's name again?
What, Scoochie, Cass, and Danches?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Let's have a look.
D-Slurp?
I'm going to... No, that's ENC, Pulse, and Cook.
Nubs and VR.
Oh, okay.
Nubs in VR, that's it.
No, they're not my pick. So yours is Liquid.
Mine
is definitely Liquid.
My pick is equal between Team Liquid and AIM Scams. After watching a lot of the NA tourneys, I feel like NA in team modes excel past EU. It's just my opinion. But I think that AIM Scams brought something to the table which was really, really coherent. And despite the fact that we heard Team Liquid's comms for a long time, and that was pretty coherent, I guess you could say, AIM Scams were operating as the hive mind, which is what you want to see in a team mode. It was really coordinated, really well put together. Team aimscams.gg and Team Liquid were obviously very strong, but I feel like it was coming from previous strengths rather than diabotical strengths, if that makes sense. Like, AIM Scams are a diabotical team, as far as I can tell. They were playing like you would expect. the EU team tourneys were impressive. There was a lot of stuff going on with those. I don't remember any of it, but yeah.
Nice. No, I mean, I was there the whole time, and I don't either, really. I just remember Cass. I can't get him out of my head.
Neither can I. For all the wrong reasons.
I'm going 2Z. I don't think... I think they're better than Liquid. I think if they played each other on LAN... If you had a fully practiced 2Z with claws, putting in the hours needed... What the fuck is my cat doing? I think they would be the strong favourites, actually. I think Claws, kind of like Cypher, just comes in. Don't let the cat undermine my point. The other one's here as well. Look. He's fucking clawing me through the chair.
Both of
them. There you go, Nixia. There's the cats. You wanted to see them. Yeah. Anyway, I think 2Z are the strongest team in the world. If I had to put them on paper, playing against each other on LAN. Could be wrong, obviously. I'm happy to be wrong, but they're the team with sort of a really clear way of playing. Claws is just a fucking monster. He's the X factor on the team in terms of just putting out damage. He doesn't pick up items. Silent Sep gets all the fucking armors. Latromi gets all the megas. Claws doesn't get given anything. He just gets given pincers and shafts and just gets thrown out there to kill everyone. It's amazing to watch. And
that's class.
They won a tournament with James on their team. So they're doing something right, Latromi and Silence Ep. Or Silence P, as I think he's quite...
Silence P.
quite well-known Silence P. But no, Silence Ep, Latromi, Claws, 2Z, best team playing currently. They would be my team of the year.
I did make a note here, sorry, before we move on to Davis's pick, is that Too Good, he played really well. You gotta give him credit for when he played in his own tournament, in his own game. He played super well, and I think even myself, as soon as I divide my attention between a number of things, I can't play as well. So you got to give him credit for the fact that he played super well in AFPS in 2020, which is a phrase that a lot of us wouldn't even have predicted existing. He brought it here, and then he took it there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think he was very happy with himself that he managed to win. Might not. Actually, he probably would admit it, but I think he was very happy that he was able to show these young whippersnappers that you could take the tournament with relative ease. So that was good.
Yeah.
My pick's probably going to be pretty bland. I'm a North American player. I love the Liquid boys. Obviously, been rooting for them for years, so... Standard pick, not a whole lot of reasoning behind it. Got to go with Liquid. I think you're wrong. I think on land it would be really, really close between 2Z and Liquid, but if it was a land tournament, I think we would see Liquid take just as strong of an approach as 2Z, obviously. So, yeah, I got to go with Liquid.
It would be a hell of a match, is one thing we can all agree on. It would be a fucking great match to watch.
2021 Diabotical land. Let's see it.
Let's go.
Diaboticon. Right, surely.
Tim Conlon. All right. It's going to be Tim Conlon. We're going to get all the best players, and we'll pay for their flights and all sorts. It'll be great.
Bloody hell.
Moment / series of the year. I'm going to be really boring and say that Agent versus Karvik was that moment of the year for me. I mean, I've never seen a more hyped grand finals. And if I have, I've never been in the right mindset to cast it like it was as such, apart from that one. And I think everything came together. I think it was a great moment. It was a great match between sort of fire and ice, really intellectual play, really cerebral play versus the wild style of Karvik. But of course, he had balanced himself that little bit. And that's what makes that series so special for me. And I think it was the culmination of months and months and months of Agent winning and winning and winning. And it finally came to an end. So yeah, series or moment for me has to be Agent versus Karvik. I mean, I think if I can give sort of a runner-up, it would be to the first time I casted for me with it would have been with Connex 5 and Machiavelli with Jahar on the desk, and that was really special for me to just sort of be a part of this official, actual video game developer endorsed tournament. That was really, really cool. But yeah, it's got to be Agent versus Kavik.
Fair play, fair play.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll just follow that up with the other side. I agree that Agent Carwick was a phenomenal series and one of the absolute highest points in the game so far. But as a North American player, I think the Vedmedic and Zorak War Grand Final was kind of a highlight for me. I've known both players for a very long time, played against both players many, many times. So for me personally, I'd have to go with Ved and Zorak.
The best thing about those two is that that's gonna just keep going. I hope that one series doesn't just settle it. Like, Ved's gonna come back stronger, and Zorak's gonna like continue just being himself. So it's now like the onus is on Ved to change it up maybe, or change something just to take down Zorak. So that's a great feud.
Yeah, a good rivalry in the scene for sure.
What's your pick, Jake?
Well, we don't have to choose professional series, do we?
Don't do it.
Oh, he's gonna do it. He's so gonna do it. Grab your depression blanket, grab the whiskey. He's gonna do it.
All I'm saying, right, is that we have seen comments and I've received messages. When we played the game, Joel, when we played the games, and it went to game 5.
The video game you're talking about?
I'm talking about the match. We had PressOK and we had Scraws. What a lovely duo to cast. The shit play of me and GMT against each other. Right.
Oh, you're making GMT.
Yeah.
Poor GMT.
For GMT, we had over 100 viewers watching us two play. The worst Wipeout players in the game. We are literally ranked below the national average in Wipeout. We're not good combat players. But we bungled and stumbled our way to a fucking Game 5 set, which was better than the NA Duel finals. Don't listen to Davjs. It was better than that. All right? And we had messages and comments saying that some people were saying that that's the most entertaining thing they've seen in this game so far. And we just fucking did that. And it wasn't... It was almost like it was scripted, because I reverse sweeped you, but I don't like to mention that too much, but that's what happened. And, so for me, that's my match. What were we doing? Match of the year series? I don't even know what the category was.
Moment series of the year, and my vote was also the same. It was Jake versus GMT.
Yes.
It was like, honestly, I thought it might have been a 3-0 for a second, and it turned out to be a map 5. So the fact, like how it played out, and the moments, and the trash talking, and the everything that went into it was 100% fantastic. You guys both did great. No real losers. There were no losers. Let's be honest. There were no losers.
The best, you summed it up. You summed it up perfect at the end. You're like, after all that, we finally just found out that Jake is like one frag over on GMT. Like, it's literally one frag. It
was so close. And that was just totally not scripted at all. Like, I couldn't believe that it came so close. And shout out to Scraws as well. She did an excellent job casting it with me. So if you guys want to watch the VOD, it's on my channel, twitch.tv/PressOK. The beginning there were some technical difficulties, but overall it was like 10 out of 10. Like, I got a lot of messages saying that it was the best moment of Diabotical so far. So I had to vote it for this.
Napalm 3D was cheering for GMT in the chat for that event. He was telling me he got messages from people saying, "Why do you hate Jake?" Like, it was that convincing, and like there was that much cheering back and forth. And he doesn't. Like, obviously, we're all friends. Like, what the fuck? But he actually got messages asking why he hates me. It's so good. I love that sort of shit.
It was so close, to be honest.
I will say on that note, that would be like a good thing for the scene to do going into the future, is kind of highlight not obviously like the Vedmedic Zorak War or the Agent Carwick. Those are the tippity top of the skill pool, and I think community efforts like that between like casters or whatever the case may be It does a lot to help build a sense of unity within the community. So
Oh, yeah, that was the main thing. Like, it was as much as it was fun for us. The fact that we had people that wanted to stick around and just had a lot of fun, and most of that can be attributed to PressOK's production. Like, he had fucking cheer sounds. We had like subs gifted to the guy with the most cheers, which GMT won, and like it was a good fucking fun. It was like I
He
say.
won, might add. He won by double the amount of cheers. So
Oh yeah, I was working the crowd. I was the heel for sure. Like, I was fucking talking mad shit on GMT. GMT in the first game, he was so confident because he was like 4-0 up. He was like, he fucking types the red timer to me in chat. Like, he picked up red and types the time.
it was so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was good. Good fun.
Robbie in the chat saying, I can't believe Jake actually won a game. That is the biggest surprise of the year. So
yeah, Robbie's only just turned on Diabotical Twitch in the last, he's been away for a few months. So watch out, Robbie, mate. I'm a fucking god now, all right? Let me just tell you that.
Can we move on, please?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
we may.
From this.
We may.
What's next?
Not good memories. Not good memories at all. Best mode of the year. Which, I mean, this is a little bit of a weird category, but I think that it sort of bears answering because we have had 4 modes competitively. We've had Wipeout, we've Extinction, we've MacGuffin, and we've Duel. Which one do you think is going to stand the test of time, folks, of the panel?
Well, I'll go first. I got no problem with that. Duel is the easy answer. It's the most accessible and the most popular of the arena FPS modes, especially as far as spectating goes. As a player, though, I will put my hat in the ring for Extinction. I actually quite like Extinction. I think there's a lot more room for growth, especially if maps get made with Extinction in mind. I'm really curious to see how a lot of like the TDM maps that came out of the mapping contest, how they would play for Extinction. But as far as Extinction goes, I like the twist on TDM that it brings. I think it's simultaneously more of the same while also being something a little bit new. A way you have to adjust how you would approach the game compared to like a standard TDM match. So I'm going with Extinction.
Jake.
I am still in love with MacGuffin. I fucking love that mode. When I first started playing the game, I made a whole video just of me playing MacGuffin to try and kind of show other newer players who might have been a bit I remember my first MacGuffin match, I was really confused. I had no idea what the fuck was going on, like where to go. The bases weren't labelled clear. Like there was a lot of issues with like knowing where the MacGuffin was, like who had it and stuff. But once you kind of watch someone play who knows what they did, like I watched, I think Too Good was streaming some MacGuffin matches, like a custom game. This is like really early on. This was like in the stress test. I just watched a couple of his matches and I was like, oh, okay, this game is really fucking simple actually. And a lot of people disagree with me, but I think MacGuffin was like early on when you could find easy matches in it anyway. Like I thought that was one of the better modes for like newer players to play because Wipeout's like a really obvious pick for people to when a new player says what should I be playing, a lot of people will just say Wipeout instantly. The thing I hated about Wipeout when I was just starting out and getting used to everything was the fact that I had to fight a lot of fully stacked players all at once, and I found that really overwhelming. I didn't have a lot of fun because I came nowhere close to killing someone, whereas in MacGuffin there was people with not a lot of stack and I could use the pincer and like kill people, and that's why I liked MacGuffin a lot, and just the flow of it. I don't think MacGuffin's hard to spectate. A lot of people complain about that it's really annoying to spectate and watch on tournaments.
I mean, it's the man that actually has to press the button. It is.
What I mean is, it's hard for you to be the spectator, but I don't think it's hard to follow the match on the stream. I don't really struggle with that. Seeing the fucking MacGuffin captured and then watching Claw's POV just wreck everyone, really not hard to follow that. But yeah, MacGuffin's my favourite. I'm looking forward to some new maps because like when you've got Marina and Sunken, it really is just Marina, isn't it? Because you don't really see Sunken very often. So those maps are a little bit tiresome now, but there's a new map coming that Promise has made. Obviously you mentioned that last time we was on the show. I think it's called Ancient. It looks really fun. And I think that mode is here to stay, and I think it will get better and better, personally.
Sean, mode of the year.
It's Wipeout. It's Wipeout. I'm not happy to say it, but it's Wipeout. I think that Wipeout, at its core, has attracted people to keep playing, and that is commendable in itself. A lot so. For anyone who doesn't know my history of gaming, I wasn't in AFPS for a long time. I was playing Dota 2, I was playing Counter-Strike, I was playing a lot of popular mainstream games. And the nice thing about those is being able to just play constantly, and you're not overly exerting yourself, you're not thinking about it. And I feel like Wipeout strikes that balance in some way where you can just queue up Wipeout over and over. So there's something in that which is worth mentioning. But obviously Duel gets like I'm a 1v1 guy. I like 1v1 games. I like 1v1 StarCraft. I like, whatever. 1v1 Duel wins. But Duel, in my opinion, in itself is only super watchable at the highest level. I don't particularly like watching, other than Jake vs. GMT, which was a very high level in itself, of course. But yeah, Wipeout, I could watch, two mediocre teams go at it. It's quite entertaining. It's nice. It's quite deep if you really analyze it, like mathematically, the respawn times, the positioning. It's not bad. So it gets a lot of flack, but Wipeout gets my mode vote of the year. GMT, what about you?
The vote of the year.
Vote of the year. No, it's got to be Duel for me. It's got to be, and I think that's sort of unfortunate because the right answer should be a team mode, considering where the effort and the focus has been. But I think that Duel is still special, and it's still this incredibly dynamic, incredibly engaging mode where you can see the exact traits of each player brought to the fore. And I think that the likes of Zork versus Ved and the likes of Agent versus Karvik have proved that for me. I am a dueler, and I think I will forever be a dueler and a lover of that 1v1 sort of style. And I think that in Diabotical, it's no different. It still is the best mode and the most entertaining mode, and the mode that I'm very excited to see. Now, there is a hope in me that changes and that we can move on to the team games, because I think that would be healthy for the game itself. But Duel for me, definitely still the mode.
Hey, we got
relatable.
We got 2v2 fucking TDM coming, boys. All right, 2021.
I do like 2v2.
Fucking 2021 game mode of the year. We'll revisit that because I'm fucking pumped for that.
Yeah, me too. 2v2 is my favorite experience in Quake Champions. I also really love it in Doombringer, and I love it in Quake World and a few other things. I think 2v2 is... some people sort of say it's kind of redundant and it's a bit like Duel, but you just have to stick together, and it is. But having that extra player involved, having the focus fire involved, it's slightly more interesting to me.
Sorry, I really have to pee. But what I want to say right before I go is quickly that I am the #1 combo duel player in Shoot Mania in North America, and that's basically 2v2 Wipeout. So I have to agree that 2v2 TDM is going to be fantastic. But also, I wanted to shout out Time Trials as a mode, because Time Trials is currently the highest skill cap mode in the game. And so the fact that I have a better chance of beating Agent in a duel than I have at completing Time Trials like high score is fantastic, because the chance is basically 0 for the former. So Time Trials, shout out to everyone. And also for Moment of the Year, which we also just covered, NVC, when he was rated, I think that was 2 days ago, but my memory is horrible. As soon as he was rated, he did a personal best Time Trials run on some map that I don't know because I don't follow it.
It's called Tree.
But a tree. Okay. His flick rail at the end was perfect, like insanely perfect, and also the fact that he did it in like 16 seconds. It was absolutely fantastic. Time trials in general, and I'm not just trying to appease the chat here because I know Crazy Owl was in here a second ago.
Yeah, so that's who you're appeasing. Your father,
No, no,
fucking
no, no.
Crazy Owl.
Rocket
Time
Gang.
trials,
It's my boy right there. Shout out to Crazy Al.
Shout outs to Crazy Al. Agreed.
you have to admit, time trials is one of the top skilled modes in the game so far. And like, if I were better at it, if I put in work at it, it would be one of the prouder things that I'm better at. So I have to give credit to all the people who are really good at time trials, and a lot of the new maps for time trials are really good. So, yeah.
Well
I'll be right
said.
back.
Well said.
Are we done?
Where are we going next, Joel?
Best memories in Diabot. Anytime, any place, anything. When have you had the best time in Diabot?
Getting to the grand finals of the September tournament for me. I know that's a
That was
little
pretty sick.
yeah, it's a little egocentric, but I had a really good tournament in September. I unfortunately lost in the grand finals, but it was really, really fun. It was the tournament I probably prepared the most for. And I'm not super unhappy with getting second. Obviously, I would have wanted first, but for me personally, yeah, that was probably the most focused I've ever been on a video game over the course of a weekend. That is for sure.
Yeah, I remember that series. It wasn't it was quite close as well, and you played really well throughout the whole tournament. And it came down to that. I remember because I've clipped that final frag in a couple of videos already, and it's like on Casbah, where he went through the TP, I think, and it was so awkward. And Zorak played it really smart to get that last kill. But man, yeah, it was You did like an analysis thing with Zorak as well after, didn't you, Joel, on that specific map on Casbah?
I did, yeah. It was it's on the Tim Conlan channel. It's got like 1.2k hits. Really cool for it. Yeah, and he talked a little bit about a couple of details about how he beat you, and some really interesting stuff about like mouse positioning, where he would jump at you from high ground, but over 180 degrees, so that your turn was really difficult. And it was like absolutely mind-blowing to me the sort of detail he went into. Yeah, that was a really good series, actually, even though it was a 3-0.
Beautiful.
It was very fun to play.
Jake, favorite moment though?
Probably when I fucking made that video for Too Good, like half pandering, like just stupid fucking love letter to Too Good or whatever I called it, and I basically begged for a raid, and then I got one. I had like one viewer. It was back in the stress test where he would go live for like a good like 20 minutes, just explaining to everyone what we were about to play for the weekend. So I sat on my stream. I had one viewer, which was Nightbot, and I had a picture of James's face on my desktop. So he would, when he looked at the thumbnails for someone to raid, he would see his face. And he did it, and I had Quake Champions loaded up, ready to go as a funny gag. And it was fucking crazy. And then he dropped 100 subs, gifted, which is fucking insane as well. Bearing in mind, like, I'd only just started my YouTube channel and just doing content-y stuff. And yeah, I mean, from that day, I really enjoyed streaming this game. And really, ever since then, I've not played anything else, to be quite honest. We have not streamed anything else. We've got the podcast now, which I think people seem to enjoy, unless everyone in chat's lying to me right now. And I just enjoyed doing stuff for the game that hasn't been done just yet. Like I say, I've got no issue if someone else starts a podcast that's better than this one. We'll just stop. I've got no issues doing that. And yeah, I think that really kind of kickstarted my like involvement with trying to just do stuff for the game just to make people laugh. And yeah, I started with that big raid. It was like fucking 1,200 people. Never had that many people stop by my channel before. I went from something like 500 followers to now 1.3k. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy. And it all started from that one raid that I begged for, pretty much. And yeah.
That I beg for.
Pretty much, yeah. You got to hustle, guys. You can't just turn on your stream and expect people to turn up. You got to go the extra one, go the extra mile. But yeah, that's my memory. Sean, it's up to you. We're doing best memory. You weren't here.
DBT. So I wrote a note. I have too many good memories in DBT to mention. Because, of course, in 2020, coronavirus, whatever, we've all been stuck at home hanging out. So I just wanted to say thanks to everyone on Twitch. Twitch community in general for this game has been fantastic. And specific shoutouts to Drifted, Leaf, Soam, Dusko, Ason, I Ain't Be Controlled, LTK, and many others. And shout out to U3, of course. All of which contributed to some fantastic memories for this year, which honestly, this year would have been a bust without, could you imagine if we didn't have Diabotical this year in such a time where we're stuck at home? It was great, and thanks to everyone who contributed, thanks to the good studio, of course, because without, who knows, we'd be playing Doombringer or some shit, so.
Excuse me.
I never even fucking heard of that game till this year, so I'm sorry, Joel. It looks good. It looks quite good.
It's the best game ever made. Thank you very much. Shout outs to Christus, the nicest man I know, and the best game I've ever played. My favorite moment of the year. I'm gonna be boring. It's gonna be Virgin Vedmedic versus Chad Zorik War. I think the hype behind it, the way that the tournament just sort of worked out, it was perfect. I think that's a great video that you did, Jake, and an even greater voice actor that did the Japanese parts.
Yeah, whoever that guy was did a hell of a job.
Whoever. I mean, really.
Time Master.
Sensational. Every little bit of it. I think it was just sort of the confluence of events in that it didn't need to go that way, right? It wasn't a given that things would end that way, but it did. And it was beautiful, and I'm very, very thankful, and I think it was a great series as well, even though it was 3-0 to my boy, Zorik War. I think, when you build up an event like that, the chances are it will go wrong. That's just sort of how it works. But actually, the title card absolutely lived up to expectation. And of course, Zorik War is undoubtedly the best dueler in North America.
Dude, he could be agent. I think he could be the best.
I want to see it.
He could be the best in the world.
Those two on land would be absolutely a phenomenal series.
Absolutely. And I hope that we see it sooner rather than later.
Just
a
quick side memory, because you mentioned that the video, like where the whole chat just before Ved and Zorak, the whole chat, because we had that 10-minute break at one point, but I think this was during a 5-minute break. The whole chat was like, play the promo video. Jahaz was like, we're not playing that fucking video, it's rubbish. But it doesn't really belong on this channel, to be fair.
Good lad, to be fair. Right, moving on then to our penultimate topic. Season 2 update. We've got a shock rifle coming in from UT. Sorry, I mean the Void Cannon. We've got alt fire grenades on the rocket. We've got new maps. We've got Wipeout 2.0 at some point. I'm just going to leave this very open. What do we think?
I love it.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm all for it. I'm particularly excited about the shock rifle because I've watched a lot of UT. I've never played it, but I've always thought the shock rifle was a very unique weapon for Arena FPS, and getting to use it in the context of a game I already have a pretty good understanding of. I'm pretty excited to see how it's going to get used and how it's going to alter the combat. Are we going to see, instead of a trinity, are we going to see a quartet as the top 4 guns? Really, really interested about it. The alt fire grenades on the rockets, I'm less keen about. I'm not heartbroken or mad or anything. I don't think it will be as game changing. I think some really sick combos can be done with it, and I think on certain maps it could be like on Bioplant in the red armor, chucking nades down and then spamming rockets. You're really going to be able to force people out of very tight areas with that, particularly in duel. But the Void Cannon, the shock rifle, whatever the hell you want to call it, I am quite stoked about to see used in gameplay. And I would have thoughts about like Wipeout or CTF 2.0, but we don't know what they look like, so I'm just waiting, I guess.
The weapon stuff is polarizing. Like, I've definitely spoke to people that love it. I've spoken to people that literally can't stand any of it. It's tricky because my point is I've said this before on my stream today. Actually, yeah, it is today. I had a sleep. It feels like yesterday, but it was today. Yeah, fuck.
We know you had to sleep, Jake.
You're a mess.
I'm a sleepy boy.
It is today, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is today.
It was earlier. Nothing like this game's obviously so close to Quake Live or Quake 3, but it's not Quake Live or Quake 3. And then I think it doesn't matter what medium you're talking about. It could be a game, could be music, could be a film. Nothing is ever as good as the original. And Diabotical is not better than Quake Live at being Quake Live. So you're gonna get these changes, which, you know, if the dev himself, like if James himself is literally saying that he's bored of shooting his own weapons, then why not try something new? And I'm sure there's UT players that have been screwed over way harder than fucking Quake players. Would love to see something like the Void Cannon Rifle Shock Master thing come in. The grenade thing, I agree with you, Davis. I'm less thrilled about the grenade on the rocket and the shotgun. The shotgun alt fire just doesn't really... It's not really interesting to me. I don't think the shotgun needs to be good at other ranges other than close up or for finishing frags. But listen, this game took a lot of directions during the dev process. There was going to be fucking mid-air change of direction jumps, double jumps. There was going to be power-ups that give you fucking wings and shit. Like, but they finally settled on a Quake Live clone, and I think that works for some, but it's not going to beat the original ever. So don't try and just clone an existing game. Like, do something a little bit different. And I'm excited, personally. I'm really excited about some of the new changes. And if we're getting new weapon models as well for some of the guns, then even better. So I'm happy. Anything PressOK?
I mean, you guys know I'm a fan of grenades.
Yeah, you got buffed.
And then some.
It's a blessing and a curse. I think that the changes, kind of regardless of what they are, the changes, as long as they're working towards a game which is fun consistently, and that has to do with kind of like the gameplay loop. Like, again, I mentioned it earlier, like an hour ago, it's like Dota 2, Counter-Strike, a lot of games that I can think of that I played a lot. It's like you can just queue up over and over, and each game, even though it's basically the same thing, feels different and unique to itself. And that's something that Diabotical may be currently missing. Like, a lot of Wipeout games feel the same as other Wipeout games. And so I think weapons and other changes might help with that stuff, but I'm sure it's in good hands, really. I think it'll go quite well, you know, for all the people who are demanding changes on Reddit. I think just like chill, and it's going to be good. Whatever it is going to be good, because it's currently already good. Like, you have to admit, the game in its current state, everyone except Joel agrees, is good. So it can only get better from here. I think it's going to be quite good.
Well, my prediction is that this game in a year or two from now will be almost unrecognizable from the game it is now. I think what they're trying to do is that they're showing off and testing stuff out, that there's so many capabilities with this engine and with their crazy ideas. Like, there'll be spin-off games under the Diabotical umbrella or in the universe that won't be a Quake-style arena shooter. There'll be different types of FPS games that are played in the Diabotical engine that aren't a Quake Live clone. The Quake Live clone will still be sat there, and I think we'll be able to, like, you know, if you want to play that will be there to play. But I think right now, I imagine, you know, everything they put in a new change, like the shop thing in the Halloween event, that's there to test out stuff for the future. I think they just put stuff out for people to try, and they're either going to love or hate it. But you know, there could be a world where we're playing Duel and that rocket launcher grenade thing isn't in the Duel settings, but it's in some other random team mode that's like, you know, blowing up in another small community or something like this. So I think people always jump to conclusions. That's just what humans do, especially online. And yeah, I think we just need to wait and see and try it. And listen, this dev team just put out fucking 100 patches in 100 days. I can't imagine they're going to just suddenly start ignoring all of us if it all turns to shit and Davjs is getting like triple frags on a dual map somehow by spamming nades into red. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm always excited for new stuff to make it a bit more fresh, because I'm someone who didn't even play Quake Live, and I'm already kind of getting a bit like, okay, I kind of get the formula now, you know. And you got fucking Davjs over here who's been playing since like the year 2000 on the Dreamcast, Quake 3, and no, that's not you, that's Ray. But yeah, you know, you've been playing Quake Live for a long time, and yeah, I think some new stuff is good.
For sure.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sean. No, you.
I just think that, like, in terms of change, a lot of people, especially coming from Quake 3, are a little bit averse to change, and people have talked about it endlessly here and there. But at the same time, like, Overwatch, for example, I don't play it anymore, but it has a lot of admirable qualities. TF2, you know, every game left and right has really good qualities that could be leaned on or borrowed from. And I think Diabotical can also benefit from that. I just want it to be the most played game, if not just by me, but by like everyone. Like, it has the potential. Like at its core, the engine is so good it can be whatever. So like, it's just up to, you know, a matter of time and creativity and focus, whatever. I don't know.
You make me cry, man.
Wah. That's about our show, really. I mean, I think for season 2 update, I'm very optimistic. I think that any change is sort of a good one. I think it's always exciting to see what might happen, and it's very hard to predict. So that leaves us with our final topic, and that's the podcast going forward. This is the last podcast of 2020, and also the last podcast as me as host. I think 10 episodes in, we've had a lot of fun. We've covered a lot of bases, and it's been pretty successful on the whole, Jake.
I think so. No one else has started up their own, so that's how I gauge it. So if people like listening, then yeah. Podcast isn't going anywhere. I don't know if you want to talk more about you stepping down, Joel, but it's a lot of work and time to put in every week. It doesn't seem like it, but it kind of is. And Joel actually does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of planning the topics and stuff. So God knows what the fuck I'm going to do next year. But yeah, no, it's good fun. I think people like it. I like the fact that we have different people on every week as well. We get to hear different opinions from across the globe. And yeah, no, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. I've never done a podcast before in my life, so it's new for me. But yeah. You're right there, Joel.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so I will be leaving. I won't be a host. I mean, who knows if I'll be a guest at some point in the future, but sort of unlikely.
Very low down.
But I think that yeah, of course. You got to get in all your Vedmedics and your Zoric Wars and your whoever else. But I think it's been a lot of fun. I think the podcast has been honestly more successful than I thought it would be in terms of viewership, in terms of almost everything. Actually, I think it's gone really well and people have enjoyed it, and that's what you can ask for, really.
Sweet, man. Yeah.
It's definitely something I think Arena FPS as a whole needs. There's really very, very little content creation in this style of game outside of people just streaming themselves playing, but there's very little like analysis videos, there's very little podcasts, there's very little just content outside of people just playing the game. So I think something like this is really phenomenal for the scene, and it gives people a place to kind of congregate and talk about something that doesn't really have a whole lot of other outlets for something like that. So,
And as you know what they say, the real podcast is the friends you make along the way.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Because Smileyblue podcast will be back in 2021.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Literally, like, yeah, just as a sign off, I suppose. I don't know if anyone else wants to go after, but just to like some thank yous. Like, I've really made some good friends this year, like just through this game. I didn't know, you know, I still consider myself new to the genre, and I didn't really know what to expect coming in. And I've been met mostly, with a couple of recent exceptions, mostly really warm welcomes. And you know I can be a bit cheeky and a bit, I don't know. I don't even find myself funny, so I don't really feel comfortable like saying I make people laugh. But like I've made a lot of good friends, and like I say, really is global. Like I talked with the Australian guys, I talked with the NA guys. You know, it wasn't long ago, Davis, I was a regular in your stream before Diabotical came out, watching you play Quake live and saying hello and stuff. And yeah, to then do some casting on James's dime. And you know, it's been a really weird year, but it's been good. And obviously GMT and PressOK, we've been quite close last couple of months as well. The women who run the Girls House event, made some great friends there, like Scraws, Beth, and Chomper, and Datash, and Vaya, and yeah, it's been a great year. That's what I'd say.
Would agree.
Yeah, GMT drying his eyes. I think I totally agree with you. It's been fantastic. I appreciate all three of you for both your contributions from a caster perspective and a player's perspective. Really made the year in terms of Diabotical content. And yeah, as I said, whatever, half an hour ago, big thanks to the Twitch community for everyone involved, both viewers and streamers. We have a lot of smaller streamers. We have a lot of kind of bigger streamers as well in the community. And they all contribute equally to, you know, this bigger thing of entertaining people in such a tough year. So big shout out and big thanks to all of them.
Agreed.
Yeah. Shout out to a few people. I'm going to mention a couple now. Zacubus, for being one of the first producers on Tim Conlon. Adam, the man who took his role. Jake for co-commentating, as well as Davis, of course, and also the likes of Death and FaZe. And the biggest of shout-outs of all to Crazy Al, the man behind Tim Conlon. And really, I wouldn't have any of the opportunities that I have if it weren't for him. I'm ever so grateful for him.
The daddy of time trials.
That's it.
Fucking daddy. All right.
That's our show.
Yeah. Davis, have you got anything you want to plug or shout out or anything, or let us know what you're up to these days?
I'll give a shout out obviously to my team. Prevail is super rad.
We prevail.
We prevail,
prevail.
baby. Hashtag it, spoof it, meme it, make a mockery of it. I don't care. We prevail though.
I'm getting that tattooed on my neck next year.
All right, that's you're
Just
taking
like that.
the meme game
That's
to
like,
the next
look,
level
Davis.
there. Misha Atlanta be like, I'm such a fan.
Davis, look, I prevailed.
But no, obviously shout out to my team and everybody behind that. I would just like to echo PressOK's sentiment of really big shout out to the community. It's really kind of our game, so to speak. While Too Good and the studio keep developing it and giving us new things to play with, the game is largely in our hands, which for a new release game in 2020 is kind of unheard of. We have every facility that we need in order to run our own tournaments, to forge our own communities. So shout out to the Good Studio for obviously making the game, and to everyone who enjoys playing, watching, talking about, and being a part of the scene.
Nice. Anything from you, Sean? By the way, if we were going to do an underrated streamer award, I think I would give it to PressOK. You do some fucking weird shit on your stream, and I'm all for it.
PressOK does run a pretty entertaining stream. I'll back that up.
On my last stream, someone was like, I forget what they said. They were like, just fix the colors on your stream. And I'm like, no, I fucking do the colors that I want to have on my stream.
This isn't an accident, bro.
Yeah. I think as long as you're enjoying what you do, that's the key. And that goes for everyone. That goes for us doing this podcast. That goes for the developers doing the game. That goes for the players playing the game. Do what you enjoy, because life is short. And that's basically it. You know, if you're going to play Duel, I see a lot of players like Okay, so about an hour ago, we were talking about our favorite players of the year and stuff. Hell 9000. Also, like you mentioned Gaia, but Hell 9000 is probably my favorite player, aside from, like, Cooler would be number one. Okay, but he's not playing. He's an Overwatch player right now. Hell 9000 would be my second pick, and it breaks my heart when he's very critical of the game. Just enjoy what you're doing. When he enjoys what he's doing, he is my favorite player to watch. Just enjoy what you're doing, no matter what it is. Even outside of this podcast, outside of the game, just enjoy what you're doing, because that's what life is about. That's all.
Beautiful.
Agreed.
Well, this has been 2020. This has been the Smileyblue podcast number 10. I don't think that we can really top that, what Sean said. So all that's left to be said is thank you, Sean. Thank you,